So we're here today with Kate. You like Kate?
Katie.
Katie. All right. So Katie and Kegan. And Kegan, you have experienced an interesting an event in your life. You know, what happened with you?
I had a cardiac arrest.
Where were you when that happened?
I was just playing football.
Playing football? Were you at practice or were you in an actual game?
It was just practice.
Practice. So kind of run through what was going on at that practice when this happened.
It was just a no contact drill, getting ready for the game the next day. And we were running plays, and I had heart stuff before, and then I guess I just ran to my coach saying, "Coach, coach, coach," and then I just collapsed at his feet.
So, and did your and from what your teammates have told you, did the coach think that it was something serious at that time?
He thought I was just like playing around, maybe, and he got over to me and realized it was something serious that was going on, and he thought it was a seizure, and then he realized it was more than just that.
Okay, so Mom, do you know from what you've been told, like what happened thereafter after he collapsed at the coach's feet?
Yeah. From the sounds of it, it sounds like he had a teammate run to get the athletic trainers. The athletic trainers came speeding over in a golf cart with an AED, and by then the coaches had already started CPR trying to get his helmet off, and they had called 911 already, and a shock was administered by the AED, and it started finally resuming a more normal heart rhythm for him, and that's when Lakeview arrived, and the fire department, PD, law enforcement, SRO, everybody they come running when you see a 16-year-old on the football field collapsed.
So we want to give a little credit to the responders that showed up. So kind of go in depth, like who responded? You had quite a crew there that responded. So everything kind of lined up. So kind of like tell us who all responded.
Yeah, so, and I don't want to miss one, so if I miss one, I'm sorry. But I know Bayport Fire did, so shout out to Bayport Fire. 2 rigs from Lakeview showed up, as well as the supervisors for Lakeview. Washington County deputies, Oak Park Heights, Stillwater. I swear there's one more.
Okay.
Stillwater.
Stillwater did, I said that. Right? Stillwater, Oak Park Heights, the whole area.
Yeah.
Yep.
All of PD.
You were in a great spot. It was
everything
lined up. That's wonderful. So kudos to you guys that were out there helping. That was fantastic, and everything lined up for this young man. So you said that you had like an episode before. So what were those symptoms that you had prior to this?
It just felt like out of nowhere. It just like felt like my heart was like racing for no reason. Like I'd be sitting in class and then like it would just like start like beating like really really fast, and then I just got confused because I didn't know what it was. And it happened. It started, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it happened like once every month. Then before it happened, like my cardiac arrest happened, it happened like once a week. And then so I was like, maybe we should go look at this again, because we had looked at it before and they said nothing had happened and nothing was wrong. And then this happened.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
And then the cardiac arrest. So, Mom, what have they come up with a diagnosis? Did they give you a diagnosis of what might have?
Yeah, so they said that day what caused his cardiac arrest was this torsades rhythm that his heart went into. No idea why. Not genetic, not anything. They said it likely wasn't caused by the other heart issues that he was having. So we found out now that the heart issues that he had previous were the SVT rhythms. So now he's got ablations to fix that, and he's got the ICD to make sure that his heart never goes into cardiac arrest again. And it's a pacemaker as well, so it'll pace if it goes below 40, and it'll pace it if it goes above like 270. So it'll keep it in a normal range. And yeah, that's all we got right now.
Okay. And so they're still watching him very closely at this time. And you haven't resumed back to contact sports or, okay. And what kind of sports, what are they saying about sports, Kegan? What are the doctors telling you that you can do for sports?
They said no contact, so I can't play football again. No hockey, no rugby, no sport that you're intentionally trying to like hit people. My friends are trying to get me to play basketball again, so I might do that. But like track, like non-contact sports I can play.
Okay. And that puts you in a different mindset, doesn't it, when you're used to football?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely.
So, has it been a little tough to kind of swallow that, to understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still ask my doctor that, like, has it been helping us? I just ask him every time we see him if I can play football again.
Yeah. When you've been a football player, that kind of does stick with you, and you want to continue. So, understanding that for sure. But there's lots of sports out there. There's lots of things you could do.
Yeah.
And anything outside of school that you like to do for sports?
I like to fish, and not really sports that I like to do. I like to watch sports a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's really it.
Good. So, as you were in the hospital, and you were actually headed to the school. You were headed to the field when when you got the notice. You kind of got the page, the information came in. So, and then you were rerouted to the hospital. Mm-hmm. So when you got to the hospital, were they there yet?
Mm-mm. No, it felt like forever. We wound up, Kegan went to Regions, and it felt like, I had enough time my parents showed up, Kegan's dad was there, the football coaches, the AD, the principal, Kegan's grandparents were there, other grandparents. So we had time to get all these people here, and we're like still waiting for Kegan to get to the hospital and get stabilized by Regions, and it felt like 14 hours. It was like, and the doctor would come in every once in a while and say, "Yup, he's here," but it was like, I knew what happens pre-hospital. I don't know what happened once you get to the hospital. So that was, that felt like a very long time.
So when EMS was en route to the hospital, did they keep you, did you have a way of being in the loop, or were you just waiting?
I got an update from the hospital, or the EMS crew that was on scene. Shout out to Nick. Gave me a call, and luckily it was a voice I recognized, and he could tell me exactly what was going on in the ambulance, and just saying, "Hey, he's in good hands. He's stable. We're gonna get him to the hospital." And so he was able to update me as needed, and then it was just like, just go to Regions, don't come here. Like we're gonna get him there. So I felt, I felt good about that he was in really good hands. He was gonna get to the hospital. Nick was able to tell me over the phone just kind of what was going on. So I felt really good about that. Just that he was gonna get there just fine, and it was definitely gave me peace of mind that he was gonna get there. I just needed to get to Regions.
Well, and it gives you, as a parent, being on the other side of EMS. We're usually in the heat of it, and we're working hard, and we're saving lives, and then to be the parent on the other side, it gives you a different perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was, I mean, you know what happens, but you don't know what happens. It's your own kid now. It's not someone else's. And now, you know, looking at the scene too, I mean, you want someone updating the family. You want someone talking them through and reassuring what's going to happen. And luckily, like, I had that, and I felt really good about that.
So having Nick giving you those updates really was helpful.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So for both of you, has there been any challenging aspects of your healing? Has there been anything challenging that you can think of?
For me, it's memory. That's a challenge, especially during school, and not being able to play football. That's really it.
Mm-hmm. And Mom, any challenges?
I don't know. You said the school one. I was gonna say.
Are you worried about him every time he goes to school? every time he leaves the house?
Yeah, it definitely. There was an adjustment there. It was like I really got to know his nurses and SRO and teachers and his guidance counselor, and just making sure that he was set up right for going to school. He could have had all the time. I mean, the school would have given him all the time he needed to not be at school. But I know he was really eager to get back, and so just letting the school know, hey, he's gonna be back on this day, like, give him a chance to get adjusted. You know, this is a pretty big, so we had some medical pieces in place, as far as like he could have taken the elevator instead of the stairs. He basically had a forever long bathroom pass. You could use your phone at school, was a medical exemption, which I don't know if that was good or bad overall at the end of things, but there were some pieces that we got put in place to just make sure that he was successful at school. So that was definitely an adjustment. And then I would say too, he got his driver's license after that. So this happened the day before his 16th birthday. And so he could have gotten his driver's license starting that day. He was ready. He got his permit super early. So making him wait until he was ready. And we were comfortable with him driving. I'm still not comfortable with you driving, but at least knowing, like, yeah. I think the driving part is still very scary, but that has nothing to do with it. I'd be scared either way.
So they used the AED on the field. We're going to come back to that. So they used the AED on the field, and they were able to get a shockable rhythm, and so they were able to shock him. Do you know, like, how many shocks they delivered to him? I mean, the AED is actually the key thing here in the survival of you, Kegan. So use of that AED, like. Do you know how many shocks they delivered before they were able to get to the hospital? And I know that we will be showing throughout, we'll show you some of the rhythms so that you'll see the rhythms, and you really had to work to get the feedback off of that AED.
Yeah, so the AED they used was a 15-year-old AED that they just had at the school. The athletic trainer said they had never had to use it before. And because of its age, they thought, oh, they're never going to get a rhythm off this thing. Like, just leave it at the school. Don't put it back into service yet, but just keep it at the school. Turns out even the 15-year-old AED did its job. It shocked him once, and we were able to get that printout. So we have a 27-page printout of what his heart was doing as the pads were put on, and then as the pads were taken off. But it was no easy feat to get that printout, but it did make a huge difference. We could see what his heart was doing the whole time. So that AED was definitely, without it, he wouldn't have survived, and we were able to get that, the printout from it and see exactly what his heart was doing. So, but one shock, it did its job. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Even though it's old.
And you were able to implement a new program at the fields, and so you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, the AED in the field.
Yeah.
So we worked with Teddy's Heart to be able to get a Save Station at Stillwater High School on the Turf 2 fields. We just had a ribbon cutting last month for it. We had a ton of first responders and school officials and supporters of it. But it's a Save Station, so it's a tower. It has AC and heat in it, so you can keep this AED in there year round. It had to be hardwired, so thanks to Stillwater High School for doing all that, and Teddy's Heart for all that they do. But so we've got this AED Save Station with his name on it and Teddy's Heart's name on it, and it's one of those expensive pieces you never want to use, like a lot of our EMS stuff, so there it sits at the school, and we hope to get as many of them. They're just so important to have, so important for Kegan to have for something we thought could never happen. You don't think a 16-year-old is going to go to cardiac arrest on a field, but it happens. So for the spectators and everybody using that field, it's there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The importance of AED and just how a small piece of equipment can make a huge difference for everybody in the community. So for our services, those AEDs make a difference. Absolutely. So what would be a takeaway that, something that you would want EMS providers to know from your experience, both of you?
I would say know where the AED is. Know where, all the pieces of equipment on the truck are, but know where that AED is. It made such a huge difference for Kegan, and that the athletic trainers knew where that was and how to use it and how to get it on him fast. I think be a good witness. So when we got to regions and everybody started coming, obviously the scene, as we know, was super chaotic. When they got to regions, it was super chaotic, and everybody that came in had the same question. Did he get hit? Did he, tell us what happened before that? And luckily we had the coaches and the AD and the principal that could all explain exactly what happened. But you don't always get that, Sometimes you just find someone cardiac arrest and they're just laying on the ground and we have no idea. But when you do have some idea, know the story of what happened and be able to communicate that effectively and kind of expect that question over and over again. Because before we even saw Kegan, I think we heard the story of what happened probably 10 times from the coaches and from the AD, and in great detail. So luckily we had that, but every provider that comes in is going to have the same, tell me what happened, did this, did that, and so just know your equipment and have those AEDs available, and be able to tell the story of how you found the person when you got there.
Kegan, is there anything that you would like us to take away from this?
Just take every call seriously. That's all I really took away from it, because it could be like they don't know what's going on at the scene until they get there. So just be prepared for anything, really, and just take it serious.
Yes, very good, very good. We greatly appreciate you guys coming in. I can't express how great it is to see you up and doing as well as you are, and getting to visit with you. This is great.
Yeah.
So
thank you for
yes,
having us.
Thank you.